It's missing the point. It's the power ranking show. Doubling up a little bit as our MTP Boston show this week due to some scheduling issues. The MTP Boston section of the podcast this week, Bob, is left to the two non-Patriots fans.
Should be fun.
Let's shit
We're
on
on a
them.
5-game winning streak, though, so it's like the least opportune time for the
let's
two
shit on them
non-Patriots fans to take over.
Let's shit on them anyway, just to be dicks. You know, let's two contrarian arseholes. I am here with the real BK, Bob Kelly. Do you ever go by Rob?
Yeah, at work I do. Yeah,
It's you're Rob at work.
Rob in general life. Besides,
Are you?
You guys and like my friends from when I was in my Bob era, like anyone from like.
Because everyone called you Bob in college. Bobby.
Yeah.
Everyone
I was
called
Bobby
me in college.
Yeah. I started to do Rob when I started to wait tables. So it's really like from that on, everyone has known me as Rob. So yeah, there's lots of Robs out there.
That's crazy. You're Boston Rob, essentially.
I'm Cowboys Rob at work.
Cowboys Rob.
Yeah.
There's a very famous Survivor player named Boston Rob. 3 guesses as to where he was from.
I'm going to go Boston.
Yeah. But like, not really. I feel like he was from like a town outside of Boston like us.
He was from like Milford or something like that.
Right. Anyway, we're here to talk about football, unfortunately, because it's a Chicago Bears fan talking to a fucking Dallas Cowboys fan on a far too commonly recurring theme over the course of the last 5 years doing this show where both of our teams are shit the bed again. But hey, let's start out with the Patriots since our good friends Mike and Ray aren't able to complete a MTP Boston show. We should dedicate some time to the surging Pats. There's kind of a lot to talk about there. They just made 2 trades, Bob. 2 trades that essentially got rid of guys that they weren't really using. So I think that's fine. Kyle Duggar went to the Steelers and plus a 6th and 7th round pick swap. I think that's the bigger trade, to be honest with you. I think that he might find some life. He was starting for the Pats up until this season.
He was a first-round pick.
He's a first-round pick. He could turn things around in Pittsburgh, going into a pretty solid defensive unit that needed coverage in the safety position because of some injuries.
Help for sure.
And then also Keon White, defensive end, who's, like I said in the group chat, just came up before we started doing the show. First time I've heard his name all season, so the Pats fans shouldn't be too broken up about that, right? I don't think he's recorded a sack. Has he? I don't know how many snaps he's recorded, to be honest with you. But he's going to the Niners, and that's, I think, probably good for both those guys, right? I don't know how much it's going to shake up the league. We've been talking consistently over the course of the last few weeks, like we've kind of been itching for a big trade to happen. Sorry to bring this up, but since the Parsons trade, nothing earth-shattering has really happened, and we're coming up to the deadline soon.
That was earth-shattering, no.
Yeah, that definitely shattered your earth. I am so sorry about that. I don't think we're going to be back on this show before the trade deadline. So the next time we talk, everything will be happened. Everything will have happened. So where do you stand, I guess, on the Patriots trading a couple guys away? Would you like to see them go from strength to strength at this point and try to sign another wide receiver? Would you like to see them, like, is that what they're doing? Are they putting together a little, like, pick package, collecting some picks from different areas? Or do you think they can stand pat? Because, I mean, like we talked about every week pretty much with Mike, they have the easiest fucking schedule of all time. So maybe they don't have to do anything, you know? But do you think that there's a world where they could make some trades and I don't know, win a playoff game or 2 or 3?
Well, yeah, for sure. Maybe not 3. But the way Drake Maye is playing, bro, at this point, they might as well go out and try and get some, even if it's like a lesser weapon to add to the offense, because
a running back?
They could use, right, a running back besides Ramondre would be nice.
They clearly don't rate Trey Henderson. I don't know.
They're just so insistent on letting Ramondre out carry Trevion every week. But yeah, I wouldn't mind them going to get some sort of wide receiver for sure. Like I said, Drake Maye is literally, since October 1st, he has 8 touchdowns, 1 interception. So this dude is just on an absolute roll right now. So I think they definitely should go out and get him a weapon. I don't know who's actually available. I know they could go out. They love trading for old Patriots. So going to get Jacoby Myers, I feel like would be a nice pickup for them. He knows the system. He's familiar with Vrabel too. So I don't think that would be a bad pickup. I would
Tyler
like to see them
Lockett
do
just
something
got
like that.
released.
Lockett, that wouldn't be bad.
I mean, getting released, not a good sign for where he is in his
By the
career, but
Titans too. By the
yeah,
Titans, it's not great.
yeah. So I don't know. I don't know about that, but I know he's a hard worker. He's probably good to have in the locker room. He's always consistently I think praised as like a good locker room presence. Maybe someone like that. I guess we'll see because it's kind of, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. It's sort of the territory I'd probably be in with New England at the moment. I don't want to ESPN this
So
show ever, but like, are you ready to declare Drake May the winner of his quarterback class? Is it too soon?
yeah, yeah, no, it's not. He's at the moment by far in the pole position. Like it's not even close at this point. A fun stat I saw yesterday that said Drake May had a 200 plus passing yard and 100 plus passer rating in his seventh
Yeah,
straight
I
game
saw
on
this.
Sunday.
Yeah,
Tying
the
Patrick Mahomes for the
other
longest.
five guys that have done this are Peyton Manning,
Right,
Aaron
it's
Rodgers, Tom Brady, Pat Mahomes. Yeah, I know. It's
so he's doing an elite status for this early in his career, and he's doing it in a fashion where like he's getting better each and every week. Like this past week, man, he was unbelievable. Some of the throws he was making, like that throw on the outside to Booty was just an absolute dime. And the fact that he didn't get discouraged by the sloppiness and getting bogged down in the first half, I think was such a big sign too. Like he came out in the second half and just was absolutely firing. I think they scored touchdowns on their first three possessions coming out of the half, which I think is such a telltale sign of a quarterback who, goes into the locker room, sees his mistakes, and is able to adjust on the fly like that. Like that's elite level status, man. And especially in today's NFL, in a league where it's pretty much being dominated by running backs. Like the best teams in the league right now are running back centric. Like you look at the Colts with Jonathan
Yeah,
Taylor.
I
You look
mean,
at the
Jonathan
Giants
Taylor
with
probably
Saquon.
should be the consensus MVP right now
He is. No,
if
he
they
is.
ever
Well,
gave that to anyone other than quarterbacks. But
he's having the best season since LaDainian Tomlinson. But with Drake May, though, he's doing it in a league where quarterbacks aren't doing this right now. Like not even Mahomes is putting up the numbers that May is doing in the past month. So he's been elite. Granted, it's against lesser competition. And his worst game over the past month was the Bills game. Granted, they still won that game, and he had a top level drive in that game. But yeah, he's been elite for me of
since
like
the
the first
Steelers game,
half.
basically
Since the
just
Steelers
since
game.
the Steelers game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I'm going to say this. I do think it's still too early to declare. I really do. I mean, I know that I think I agree with you that he's obviously. This isn't
You
really
got the ball.
debatable. He's obviously playing the best of I would call it the three guys right now. Right? Can we call it three, or are we
Yeah.
still calling it four?
Well,
Are we
Bo is in
including
there
Bo?
too.
Are we
Bo is in
including Bo?
there too. He's still in there.
He's going to remain
Yeah,
in the
he's in there.
conversation. Okay, fine. So,
Yeah.
of the four guys, I can't debate that he's playing the best football right at this very moment.
Drake May right now is having a better season than Jaden Daniels did last year, in my opinion. I think he's putting up. It's more
I
impressive
agree.
what he's doing than
I
what
agree.
Jaden Daniels did last year. So if he continues this run, I just feel like he vaults Daniels. I mean, granted, he needs to continue it, especially against the competition that's coming up. But if he does that, yeah, he's in first.
So your order right now would be Drake,
Daniels,
Jaden,
Williams, Knicks. Yeah.
Caleb, Bo.
Yeah.
That's upsetting for me.
It's pretty elite so far though. Like those four are definitely the best four or like the best group
Yeah.
that we've seen in a very long time.
It's a
in their
really
first
good
2 years.
class.
Yeah.
It's a really, really good class. I think it's going to just be a good class. I think it's possible that 3 to 4 of those guys remain in contention to win championships for a few years, depending on how their teams sort of operate. I still think Caleb is getting better week on week. I mean, I know this is how I watch football, and I know it's probably insufferable for people because I am sort of the eternal optimist, but I do feel like I've been tempering stuff this season, which kind of made this week not as devastating, like not as far of a fall for me, because we were kind of neck and neck there. I think Drake was probably still playing better football, but like we were both on 4-game win streaks. We both had marquee wins with like a kind of a rivalry. And then the Bears came to a crashing halt first, right? There was a lot of similarities in their season, but I probably could have told you that was what was going to happen because I'm trying to be as realistic as possible this season. That being said, because we're still talking about the Pats, if I was to give advice to Patriots fans right now, and I'm not taking anything away from Drake May's play, and I swear I'm not sneaking in any sort of agenda here, I really mean this from the bottom of my heart because I know so many of you, and I care about so many of you. You can't take your dick out and run around the car after you beat the Browns. All right. So just everybody, because I was keeping myself calm so I didn't sound stupid when the Bears inevitably bearsed all over my fucking face. And despite a depleted secondary and bad refereeing, let a fucking second string quarterback in Tyler Huntley kind of run ripshot over the entire team after and like, really crashing down. So I still think I've seen improvement in Caleb week on week. You've obviously seen improvement in Drake Maye. We should start calling him Dre. Drake Maye. So obviously you've seen improvement in him week on week. I just think I just hate, I know I say this all the fucking time. I'm a broken record, but I just hate the overreactions on quarterbacks. Like it within, like, I know you do it and it's fun, but when people do it in a really, really serious way, because I just think you like to see good quarterback play. That's where I think the play state comes from.
Really
like, I think you like watching like people play well, right? So I think that's what I've learned about you over these years. But for me, it's like that very serious overreaction that people are actually doing. And I understand the internet's the most reactionary place we've ever built. I get that, and I should just like ignore the noise. But like, you guys sound so stupid when you declare things about these QBs, because this time last year, I guess we were a little worried, but this time last year, CJ Stroud was a guarantee to be a top 10 NFL QB for like the foreseeable. Everybody was like, he's there, he's arrived, it's cemented, and he's fucking nosedived. This week being sort of the exception, but he's nosedived performance-wise, right? So, you got to give these guys more time. I understand we're in the instant reaction era, but I almost think it's unfair to Drake Maye, the level at which we're talking about him right now. Like, I think all the things you said are true, and I agree with all your points about him, but it's almost unfair to be like, he is risen. He is anointed. He has arrived, because come the dregs of winter, I'm sorry to be the one to tell you this, everybody, but we're likely going to be watching Pat Mahomes like win a Super Bowl. That's still the most likely scenario. If you can look at me, come on this show. I invite you, person listening to this. And if you can look at me via Zoom, or you can come to my house if you live nearby, and if you can look me in the eye and tell me seriously that if the Pats met the Chiefs in the AFC title game, that the Pats are going to the Super Bowl, I don't think you're a serious person. I don't think you're a serious individual if you could say that with a straight face as of right now. So that is what I'm talking about in tempering expectations. And I'm not trying to poo-poo. I just want to make that clear. Does anything I'm saying make sense? Is that salient at that point? Does. Wouldn't you advise your friends to calm the fuck down right now? Wouldn't you?
100%. 100%. Listen, this is coming from a guy that had Dak Prescott his rookie year, went 13-3, and I thought he was the GOAT. Okay. Yeah. But
I mean, Dak's playing really well.
He is. He played like
overall
shit on Sunday.
Overall, he's still having a good season.
I think what is leading to that, though, is the culture and the state of the quarterback play in the league right now. Is that like we're so starved for what it was 5-10 years ago, and like the quarterback play that we did have, that when we see
I'm
a guy
incredibly nostalgic for like that era. Honestly, I will put my hand up and admit that.
100%, because I mean, it's just like you notice it when you watch Red Zone every Sunday, the difference of football that we have now versus like what it was 5-10 years ago. Like, it's a noticeable difference for sure. But I think when we see someone play at that level, or even like 70 to 80% of the level that we used to see at a consistent basis for 4 or 5 weeks,
like 6 guys too, like we were at one point we were up to 6 or maybe 7 quarterbacks who were playing well week in, week out.
Week
And
in,
like when I say well, like,
it was like
within a
280,
marginal
280, 3 touchdowns every week.
280 plus, but
Right.
Drew Brees would have 453. You know what I mean? And
Yeah,
it was
yep.
like, but he would have thrown it 42 times, and he would have like 38 completions, and he would have 1 touchdown. I swear to God, that was the most Drew Brees fucking stat line ever, right? And I'm not taking anything away from Drew Brees. I think he was almost criminally underrated. If we look back, we don't have a Drew Brees right now. We honestly don't. Like I think we have Lamar, we have Josh, we have Mahomes, right? And I don't think I think that there's a camp for each of those guys. Yeah, I guess Joe, but I mean, can we have a serious conversation about how much football Burrow actually fucking plays at this point?
No,
I mean,
it's
me
true.
and you
True.
were our Burrow truthers, man. I mean, we've been Burrow from birth. So I'm really worried that he's not going to be able to put together a sustainable, healthy season in a good situation in Cincinnati enough to be that person who is going to come and dethrone Pat Mahomes for us. I'm really worried about that. So maybe it's Drake Maye now. Maybe we have to just sort of get on board on the Drake Maye train and just see, because Josh hasn't been able to do it. Mike's point about Lamar and the playoffs, maybe it's Harbaugh in the playoffs, maybe it's Lamar in the playoffs as of right now, but that's becoming as sort of an ever true. And, Joe can't stay healthy. So, we should be happy that Drake Maye is playing at the level that he is. We want more good QBs. If what we're saying is true about 4 guys in that draft class being at least decent, then that's a good thing for the NFL. We should not wish Daniel Jones to be as terrible as we thought he was. You know what I mean? We should want these guys to be good.
Yeah.
Because tier 2, what used to be what I would say I would call the Ben Roethlisberger tier. The way I think about football, he was, I think,
Philip Rivers.
Yeah. I mean, the perennial sort of like best of the next group tier. You got guys like 800-year-old Stafford in that tier at this point, right? And he's a gamer. You got Baker Mayfield in that standard. I think at this point, he's a gamer. How sustainable is it? These are the questions you start to ask about your tier 2 guys these days. So I think we should be happy that Drake Maye is here. I think we should give him a little bit of time. I don't think Patriots fans should be disappointed if they lose their second game of the playoffs, which they are definitely making, and they might win their division, and they might win the AFC at this point because
they have one hard game. Besides, they have 2 hard games.
The
Bucks and the Bills. Those are the 2 hard games.
They do play the Ravens, and Lamar will be firmly back at that point, by all accounts. And obviously, the refs did everything they could to make sure that season will still be alive by that point on Sunday. So
still favored to win the fucking division. Still favored to win that division.
That is kind of insulting for the rest of the teams in that division, I have to say.
It is.
I'd be insulted if I was a Pittsburgh Steelers fan in that situation, because they should win that division, despite losing their spot in the power rankings today. So yeah, I don't know. Overall, I guess that's my sort of theory for the week on where the Pats are. But honestly, the person who should be the most aggrieved by this situation, if it is the case that the Pats are sort of back and being led by another great QB, is Josh Allen. Like, he needs to take a long, hard look at himself in the mirror, because like you had a window, and now you have to give that.
The Pats are back, man. Yeah. He didn't get it. Yeah, man. Yeah.
If you have to hand that division back,
it was his for what, 6 or 7
years. There's an element of I'd say like the last 5 years were like a viable time period for him to like do something with that time. So like, once he's kind of settled into the league and he's, it's happening, the project is sort of up and running. With how quick May's doing it now, you're sort of saying like, okay, well, I guess that is the window. That's how fast you got to go. I struggle to sort of feel sympathy for him, to be honest with you. I mean, I know there is an element of kind of unfairness if the Pats get that good. They weren't supposed to get that good that quick. But damn, dude, I mean, that's some Buffalo Bills ass shit if that happens, I gotta say. I hate Bills Mafia, don't come for me. But that is some Buffalo Bills ass shit if you let that go down like that, Buffalo, the city of Buffalo. Anything else in the Pats, Bob?
Um, I think it's crazy that they continue to win. Giving up 5 sacks is impressive. Not many teams can do that, and they still dominated that game. Granted, it was the Browns. Still the Browns. I get it.
Dude,
I don't
that's
understand the
my point,
Travion
though. There's
Henderson
still
thing.
flaws in that. There's still flaws in that team. Their running game
No,
is
yeah, for
flawed.
sure.
I think they're. What do you make of their defense? I don't know if they're good on the eye test. I know that like they're kind of a top 10 defense right now on paper, right? At least over the last like 4 or 5 weeks.
Cats,
So, yeah.
yeah, they are. I think it's statistically, I think they're like number 6 or 7, something like that.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at, they haven't given up 21 plus points since the Steelers game.
I saw a stat
Yeah.
that said they haven't given up a 50-plus yard rusher in like 6 weeks or 7 weeks or something like that.
Yeah, that's really good. They're stopping the run. So I still think there's flaws that can be exposed. I'm very interested in that Buccaneers game. I don't know what's going to happen with that Falcons game because I think the Falcons are the weirdest fucking team in the NFL that I've seen in
It don't
years.
make
I
any
have
sense.
no idea what to make of the Atlanta Falcons. You have no. It is the most trick or treat ass team. It's perfect time of year for the Falcons to be the most trick or treat Tony Allen ass team that I've ever seen because you just don't know who you're going to get on a given night. You just don't know what Atlanta Falcons are going to show up. They're always keeping you guessing, much like the show Atlanta, always kept me on my toes. Maybe that's just the spirit of that city. Patriots, we hardly knew ye. Good times. That was your MTV Boston this week, everybody. I'm sure we're a pale imitation of what you hear Mike and Ray do every week, but we tried our bestest. I tried to temper expectations.
We did try.
You want to talk about the Cowboys?
Yeah, we could talk about the fucking Cowboys, bro. Oh
You
my
can't
God,
let
what the
you
fuck
can't let
was that?
Bonix come into town
fuck?
and drop 40 plus on you. You can't.
Oh, so
What's
what
up
was
with
so
the defense? The
frustrating about
defense
it
is
was like
bad.
it was how it started. It was like the interception to start it. You're like, bro, yes, we're back, man. Like we're first forcing turnovers again, just like we did last week. Like it's on.
Mm-hmm.
Then we give up 4 touchdowns in the next 5 possessions, right? We let RJ Harvey score his first 2 touchdowns of the fucking season. I bombed to Cortland Sutton, which was just fucking wide the fucking open. Yeah, I don't know what the fuck is wrong with this defense, man. It's so atrocious. And it just puts the offense in a spot that they can't fucking recover from. You know what I mean? Like,
You have a
even at the
terrible
end of the
defensive
half,
coordinator. You have a terrible coach being the
he's so
defensive
bad, man.
coordinator.
He has
No.
no idea what the fuck he's doing.
No.
He like doesn't know whether like he'll put all the focus on the pass. We give up an 80-yard run, so he takes it all and puts 8 in the box, and then leaves guys wide the fuck open down. It's absurd.
Dude, trust me, I lived it. I hear you. My heart goes out to you.
For the offense, though, is like even they get put in a position that they can't succeed because all of a sudden it's 27-10, and everyone knows what the fuck you're doing when it's 27-10. So now you take out what's been pushing us all years, Javonte Williams, and actually having a running game so then Dak can do play action and our 2 wide receivers can get single coverage, all that bullshit. You take that completely out of there. And then you force Dak into situations where he's thrown into double coverage and making terrible decisions at the end of the half. Like, I don't know what the fuck that interception was, but like at the same time, I don't blame him for it because he's obviously forcing the ball downfield because he's like, okay, a field goal from Aubrey isn't going to get the job done here. Like, we can't rely on a 68-yard field goal to end the half and make it 27-13. Like, what the fuck is that going to do?
And like that
So
needs to be a bonus. Like the fact that you have a guy who can kick it through the uprights from anywhere on the field, pretty much, that needs to be like a really nice thing, but not your offense. It can't be how you consistently get points on the board because you're settling. I know it feels different because when we go on to talk about the Bears, I'm going to talk about their red zone struggles and how like it's so demoralizing to get into the red zone and have to kick the field goal, even though technically your offense did a good job, right, by getting into the red zone in the first place. But it's just like, oh, we just keep getting up there and we can't get it in. And I think it like you can use Aubrey as a motivational tool for not letting 3 and outs in your own territory or like close to it, like demoralize your offense. And that's that's great. Like that's a nice thing to have, but he can't be your offense because he can
Yeah.
only score 3 points every time he kicks it.
Well,
So
it's like it's great to have that luxury, but you need to be in the fucking game
yeah,
to have that actually be a
yeah.
fucking luxury. You know
I
what
mean,
I mean? Like
it's going to be great when if going to overtime, at the end of games, clock
it's
management stuff. Like just that boot
amazing,
is
right?
nice to have. But it's like it can't be what you put together out there on the field offensively. And I don't think the problems are on offense. Like I don't necessarily believe I can see
Oh,
Dak Prescott ever
definitely
winning a
not.
Super Bowl, but at the same time, it's like you can't have another game like that. Now that being said, you're never winning that fucking game because of the amount of points that the defense put up, let up. And I just think a big one for me, and I think this was a real problem with Eberflus when he was in Chicago, is getting to the quarterback. A good defensive outing against the Commanders, I would call it. A guy like Jadeveon Clowney has 5 combined tackles and a sack. 1 tackle, no sacks. Yeah, yesterday or Sunday. So,
I don't
you
think
know what I
did we
mean?
get
It's
to
like
mix it all yesterday? I don't even know if we did.
I don't,
Yeah,
I don't, he didn't. I'll tell you that much. So
I don't
to
think we had a
me,
sack
it's
all day.
like, yeah, see that's a problem. That's a fucking problem. And the Bears have the same problem, to be totally honest with you. We're paying the D line a lot of money to do dick. So it's frustrating when you don't get to because you let Bo Nix into a rhythm. You'd rather any quarterback, you let him into a rhythm, with the exception of maybe Spencer Rattler. I think the rhythm he would get into is throwing picks still. But you just don't. You got to make Bo Nix beat you. You got to get out there and you got to make him like out grit you, go around it. One of my favorite performances from Caleb this season was against the Raiders because he had Max Crosby in his fucking grill the whole time, and he was obviously being a gamer about it. Like I saw a little dog in him. He was chirping back and forth with Crosby. Crosby complimented him after the game. He was like trying to make plays around the guy, but that guy's hard to play against. You know what I mean? And he was having a good game. So, you got to make it uncomfortable for him at the very least. And then you can at least throw your hands up and be like, all right, like whatever. like at least you made him beat us, and then he came and beat us. You made it real easy for them yesterday. And I think that's a real Eberflus quality. I really do. So it's weird to kind of think about the idea of making a change of defensive coordinator week 8, but I would.
Yeah, it might be time. Yeah, Cowboys are so relying on game scripts, especially on the offensive side, that it's like if we do fall behind and we get out of our rhythm and we can't run the ball, it's almost impossible. Like so to point that out, I was looking stuff up. Dak Prescott was sacked twice in the loss in Denver. 3 games he's been sacked twice. He's thrown 3 touchdowns, 5 picks. In games where he's sacked once or less, 13 touchdowns, no interceptions.
Dude.
So when Dak Prescott actually has time to do shit in the backfield, has a running game to rely on, so as they're not keying in on the pass, it's a completely different offense, man. When we're in the game and things
What's
are
funny
going
about
well,
that, Bob?
it's
Honestly,
so different, man.
what's funny about that is like we were just lamenting. It's such a good point you're making because I think Caleb has like a similar issue, and it seems an obvious thing to say, like, well, when the quarterback has time, he does better. But there used to be guys where it didn't matter. There used to be guys where it didn't matter how much pressure you were bringing to them; they were going to cut your ass up. Like that's going to happen. I feel like there's just a thing now in the NFL where it's like the best guys are the guys that can get the ball out of their hands in less than 3 seconds, timed to where the ball needs to go, or they have the 4 seconds they need to work with, right? Like it depends. And they can keep their pocket presence or move and escape, right? So that's good. Those are sort of the two like broader, wider archetypes of quarterback we're looking at right now that is having success. And I think that to that point, that sounds to me like you can put Dak Prescott in a position to win, in a position to play really well and to win. There's a really exciting look to the offense with Pickens and Lamb out there at times. Like Pickens is really shining. Streaks light years ahead in the best wide receiver 2 race this season, right? Like I couldn't think of anyone that's even close to him performance-wise as a wide receiver 2. How he stepped up in the absence of CeeDee Lamb.
The best.
And now just like looking at both those guys back on the field, you're like, oh fuck, like there's just so much you can go to. Even in a dog shit Dak performance, they had some nice plays. So you got to work with the tools you have, but it's hard for me to kind of write them off at this point. Like they've kind of been hovering, unfortunately, because they've been so average. Like as far as wins and losses goes, they're 3-4-1 right now. Fucking draw. That's ugh. But they've been hovering, unfortunately, Bob, in the possible cross-offs the entire time. I wouldn't cross them off yet, though. I'm so much closer to moving them up to honorable mentions as I am crossing them off. But I'm still sort of optimistic about certain things. You just got to figure some shit out on defense. The Broncos are putting a 44 on you. You got to have it come to Jesus.
It comes back to the trick or treat, like we just talked about. Like if the Falcons are number one, Cowboys are number two, because it's a week in, week out thing. Really not with the defense. With the defense, they've only had one good game, and that was last week. Other than that, they've been dog shit all season long.
And then you
offense
see
though
taking like a victory lap. Like, look, I'm not terrible.
Yeah. No, you do. You're dog shit. But yeah, there's a lot of things to work out. It's gonna be tough, man, because we still have some really tough games on the schedule. That Packers game, we had to win. The game against the Panthers was such a bad L, man. That was such a bad loss to lose that game. Like we needed that game. If you look at the rest of our schedule, like we have, I guess the Cardinals this week.
You should win your next two. You should win your next two.
Right, we have the Cardinals this week.
But wouldn't it be like the most Cowboys thing ever to like lose to the Cardinals and beat the Raiders, but then beat like the Eagles and the Chiefs? You know what I mean? Like just go and like win both those games, and you're just like,
we have Eagles and Chiefs on Thanksgiving.
Yeah, Chiefs on Thanksgiving, and then the Lions. That's a real gauntlet. That could be the bullet in the back of the head of your season from November 23rd to December 4th.
That's why we couldn't lose game. We can't lose games to the fucking Panthers, and you can't get smoked by the fucking Broncos.
I hear you. We needed that
because you get the back half of the schedule, bro.
Yeah,
it's gonna be bad.
Yeah. You're going through the gauntlet, man. It's a paddling. It's a bare ass wooden paddling is what you're coming up to. It's scary. I don't like to see it. We're gonna have the same.
We're gonna give up 40
to the Bears.
We're giving up 40 to the Lions. We're giving up 40 to the Lions. That's a guarantee.
If you look like you looked on Sunday, you're giving 55 up to the Lions with the way the Lions offense still looks.
That's what they did 2 years ago to us. So that wouldn't be surprising. But yeah, it's bad. It's bad. It's bad in Dallas right now. Because 2 out of 3 weeks,
you gotta win. You gotta win the next 2 weeks.
Yeah. And I'm not confident we will. It's on Monday night, too, against the Cardinals, which is weird as fuck. It's like the weirdest Monday night game in the history of the NFL. It's literally because it's the Dallas Cowboys. Like they were hoping Micah Parsons. Maybe, yeah, it is. It's also time for the Cowboys to come out and look like shit. It's very possible they look like shit.
I think if you beat the Cardinals, you beat the Raiders. I'll say that. I think if you lose to the Cardinals, you could potentially lose both. Like it could, people could start to panic because by that point, you're looking past the Raiders at the Eagles. Like that's your real trap game right there is that Raiders game. I think you win the Cardinals game though. Ooh, scary times, Bob. Scary times.
This is going to
be for the positive side of your personality. I hope you at least win the next two primetime games that you're playing in.
Is the Raiders game primetime too?
5:15, 8:15 for you, I guess.
Yeah.
At Allegiant Stadium. Interesting. That'll look cool at night. Okay. What else about
4 primetime games in a row? The Cowboys are going to be on national television 4 weeks in a row. Because clearly the Eagles are a primetime. It's at least game of the week. It's at least a 4:25 game. At the very least.
Game the Eagles, yeah.
Yeah.
Same with the Chiefs.
And then the Chiefs are Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Right. So,
and then the Lions gets to be on Lions are a night game too. The Lions are a night game too. And
5 weeks in a row.
So are the Vikings. You're on primetime for the next 6 weeks. That's so crazy, dude. And like you might lose all those games.
All 6.
Oh my God. This is actually an insane revelation. I almost didn't want to look at the next game because I was like, surely not yet another one.
Yep. Okay. So that's
like, I mean, the Eagles game is honestly your worst time slot, and that's the best game out of all of them. And then you go back to
it's going to be an interesting month and a half, man.
The Chargers and the Commanders. Goddamn right it is. Compelling stuff. Let's pay close attention to these Dallas Cowboys over the next few weeks on this show, Bobby. It's gonna be a good time. Any other hot takes, observations, anything you want to get off your chest
Well,
about your?
I think that's a good place to cap it.
Okay, great. I'll finish with the Bears just real quick. I'm not making excuses. I've alluded to some stuff already. I'm not making excuses. Those referees were absolutely dog shit again. The Bears both simultaneously need to clean up their fucking act on the penalty side of the ball and definitely need to get better calls because the refs are not helping us out at all. It seemed a little on the nose, quite literally. Did you happen to see the very egregious face mask to basically ice the game, like on a pivotal third down? Egregious, either OPI or face mask at the very end. It was so crazy that they missed it. Quite frankly, I couldn't fucking believe they didn't call it. It was really gross. And it made complete sense to me because it's hard not to be a conspiracy theorist in that moment and be like, oh, you want to keep the Ravens season alive and you don't give a shit about the Bears? Yeah, that makes complete sense to me. It seems like the game's getting called in the direction of like, it'd be great if Tyler Huntley could fucking win this game for the NFL's sake because you get Lamar back and they could easily rattle off some wins. Vegas still clearly thinks they're going to win the division. So, maybe they know something we don't. I'm not trying to put my tinfoil hat on. I just have my silly goose hat on. It's fine. But because I don't want to make excuses. If you don't want the refs to fuck you, don't lay down, face down, ass up on the bed. Okay? Don't let them get into a position to fuck you. All right? You should be going out there and cooking that depleted Ravens secondary and locking down a proven not good quarterback. Okay? That's just gotta happen. So you can't be blaming the refs. I wish we got games called for us a little bit better, but you know how you do that? You success. Success is how you get the calls. All right. So I'm not complaining.
I think what led to those though is like the Bears had a chance to go up 14-0 very fast.
We're fucking field goal merchants. Right. We're absolute fucking field goal merchants. I agree. And then not keeping Moody as the kicker when you have definitive proof that Cairo Santos, while accurate, has a noodle leg compared to the rest of the kickers in the NFL now. You gotta ride with Jake Moody after his performance, winning you a game. He's got a good leg. He was a high pick for a kicker. Okay.
Wait, they didn't ride with Moody?
No.
Santos was the kicker or something?
No, I was furious, bro. Furious when I saw that. I couldn't believe it. And then he missed a hurricane kick. Like that run out when you don't have any timeouts, and fourth down, and you kick it. He missed that because it was short. Yeah. He's got known power issues. Moody has inconsistencies. I get that. But he has such a higher upside than Santos that you and the way he performed for you, you have to ride with him. You have to. So that's like very Bearsy to me. I would have been like, yo, Cairo Santos, like just go to somebody. I agree wholeheartedly. Go to somebody who's in desperate need of a kicker that feels like they didn't take a chance on Jake Moody and should have, right? After his performances for the Bears, and say, like, give us his 7th round pick for Cairo Santos, right? Like, go do that. Go get like just a last day pick for him. I bet somebody would give it to you. Who's got kicking? Atlanta. What is it like? Didn't they release Younghoe Koo? Right? They did, right?
Yeah, they got. I forget. They have like Parker Romo now or something like that.
Yeah. Okay. I'm sure there's teams out there. I don't know who the fuck it is off the top of my head that will give you a 7th round pick for Cairo Santos. Okay, just go do that. He's accurate. He makes his extra points, but he's never going to get you like consistently 55+ yard field goals. So it's like the opposite of Brandon Aubrey, essentially. Except for Aubrey's also pretty accurate. So Cairo Santos, he's too little and he can't kick hard enough. You just ride with Jake Moody, man. Poor guy. So anyway, fine, whatever. I have issues with the GM. I still thought the coaching was pretty good. I generally like it, the decisions that they're making. Can I ask you something though? Can I just paint you a scenario because I feel pretty strongly about this. You score 2 field goals. Sure. Then you score a touchdown. Do you kick the extra point to make it 13? Or do you go for 2 to make it 14?
You go for 2 to make it 14.
I want to go for 2 every time in that situation. Especially
you go for 2.
If you're up a touchdown, like at that point, right? If that's a touchdown that you're going to be up, regardless. At least at bare minimum, you're going to be up 7 points, right? Because you kick the 2 field goals, and like say they have a field goal. That's what they've put on the board. You have to try to go for 2, right? You have to try to go for 2 to make it like a clean 2 touchdowns that you've put on the board, essentially, at that point, right? Just take the gamble. Because then you just go for 2 again. You sort of redouble your chances of at least looking like you just kicked an extra point both times, and it's fine, right? Because then it's like they can only kick a field goal to get, like, we always, and every team seems to think that the advanced analytics say, or whatever it is, but every team seems to do it, kick 2 field goals, score a touchdown, kick the extra point. That seems what I see pretty consistently. I want to see them go for 2 more. I really think it just shows a little bit of confidence. That would be my one note, because we kick a lot of fucking field goals, so I've actually seen them in this situation like a few times. And obviously I have to watch the Steelers a lot. I've seen them in this situation a few times too, and they always kick it. So I don't know, man. Maybe there's some math that's mathing somewhere that tells you. But I agree with you. I would go for 2 every time. Don't be a bitch.
You brought up the red zone struggles. Not to rub that in. Fun.
No,
not a fun
it's
stat,
the problem.
I found a lot of stats this week. I was very happy with them.
So
the Bears scored touchdowns on 6 of their first 7 red zone possessions in their first 3 games of the season. In the past 4 games, the Bears are 5 for 16 in the red zone.
That's really not good at all. That's really not good
That's
at
really
all.
bad.
It's
That's
to
really
the point too where I'm expecting them not to score when they get up there. Which is
I've been there. I've been there with teams, and it's like you hope that they get big plays to get into the end zone, because as soon as they get inside the 20, to shrink it down.
They get in their head. I think they're getting in their head.
Yeah.
I really think they're getting in their head about some shit. Also, this is going to sound so first takey, but you got to be aggressive on second down and goal. That, I think, the key to unlocking red zone struggles is a passing play on second and goal, to be completely honest with you. And I think I don't know if you have those stats in front of you, but I bet every second and goal the Bears have faced this season, I bet we ran it. But that would be my bet, or like most of them at the very least. So to me, it's just a gut thing, and I don't really have any analytics to back it up. So I'm just talking on my fucking butthole right now. But like, I genuinely believe that you have to think that your QB can throw a touchdown pass, and I want to give him 2 chances to do it. That's to me like what I want to do. I want to go out on the back of Caleb Williams' game. I want that to be my fate every week at this point, because it's the only way to really get sustained success. Of course, I want the running game to be good, but obviously with your shiny new second-year quarterback in his new system, you want to see him throw tutties, bro. You know what I mean? Like, I want to see him throw touchdown passes. That's what I want to see. I want to see what his touchdown pass highlight reel repertoire is going to start to like shape and look like. And I just think that's good for him. I think it's good for his confidence. I'd like to actually see it get ratcheted up. Additionally, I'd like to say, just to my earlier point about, as a quick aside, we'll get back to talking about the red zone struggles, but I really do think that we're on schedule with him, to be totally honest with you. I mean, to my earlier point about the reactionary nature of the sports and the internet and everything, I think we're fine. It's his first year under the Ben Johnson system. I've seen improvements. I've seen things that didn't work in his game at all start to work. I've seen things that kind of work get better, and I've seen things that he's really good at him consistently still do. So I can see his pocket presence getting better personally. I mean, maybe it's wishful thinking on my part, but I think I can. I can see his decision making getting better. I can see his vision getting better. And the box scores might not always represent this, but I don't know. He's still on pace to be our first ever 4,000-yard passer. Just for the record, like, if you look at the numbers, he's on pace to be there. So, you know what I mean? Like, can I complain at that point if he throws for 4,000 yards for the first time ever in the history of the organization? You know, like, we're the only team. We're the only team that hasn't done it, that hasn't had one. We got to get off that board, you know? So I'd love to see that, and I'm kind of good at the moment. And like Drake May's goodness and, you know, Jaden Daniels' struggles, I'm starting to try to just put out of my head and look at Caleb in a vacuum. But as far as the red zone stuff goes, I want it to be on him, and I want to see him throw touchdown passes. And I think he consistently gets 1 shot in the red zone. I think we run it too much when we're up there because it was working. I get it. And Swift is a great guy to have in the red zone. Like the B and C gap guys are the guys you want up there, right? Unless you're too close to the line, and then you really need like a smashing machine. But, you know, he can make those kind of nice red zone plays. You love a gadget guy on a 2-point conversion,
the
right?
pylon.
Exactly. Outside guys, and like I
Yeah.
saw a couple design runs for Caleb Williams too, like early on that I haven't seen happen again. And I'm like, why? He can run, he can move, do it. Make him think about it. Make him fucking think about it at least. You know what I mean? Like that wasn't that always the problem playing prime Aaron Rodgers. It was like he was the ultimate make him think about it guy. Like you had to keep somebody on him at all times because he could kill you, but he like also wouldn't sometimes, right? Like he would, but the threat was always there, right? For him to just break off a 15-yarder just up the middle, like once the pocket collapsed around him. And I think like you got to make him think about it, like make him use all the tools that he has available. Yeah. That being said, I'm glad there's stuff on tape to actually look at. You know what I mean? It's not. This isn't a what the hell is wrong with the Bears? It's like, well, these are the problems we sort of knew we had. We're developing the QB. The running game had struggles, then it got better, and now it's sort of struggling again. So I would call it inconsistent at best, but maybe we can make some more tweaks and get that figured out. The D-line just is getting paid a lot of money to do dick, like I said earlier, and we're so depleted in our secondary. I mean, again, I'm not making excuses for injuries or whatever, but our starting CB1 is our depth chart CB4 if everybody's healthy, which that's not great. You know what I mean? Like that's pretty tough, right? And then like our second round pick D lineman tore his ACL, and he wasn't doing much before that, I have to say, but he tore his ACL. He's out for the season, so we're a little depleted on defense. But you got to find a way to go out and not get burned by Tyler fucking Huntley. Yeah, I'm sorry. It's got to be a point of pride with the guys that are out there. And quite frankly, I like the depth that we have in a lot of positions. So I want those guys to fucking step up. Step up. These guys need to step up. All right. That's all I have on the Bears. I called them an 8 or a 9 win team at the start of this season. I haven't really moved far away from that. What would you say to that? Or you think less?
No, I agree. 8 or 9 seems about right. I would fall right in that area. I don't think they've shown that they can get to 10 because of the division or any special. I think they have a lot of tough games coming up. 10. But I think 8 or 9
we play the Bengals,
right.
then we play the Giants. I would really like to win both those games. We play the Vikings, which I think is a toss-up. We play the Steelers, and then we play the Eagles, and then we play the Packers. And that's a very similar 3-game butt fucking to the Cowboys right around the same time, too. Mm-hmm. Right? Like on those same game weeks, we might be really commiserating here with each other. Then we play the Browns, and then we play the Packers again, the Niners, and the Lions. So that 3-game finish is really, really tough. So I need them to be like at 7 going into their last 5. Like I need them to find 3 wins.
Because you haven't been at 7 or 8 going into the last month of the season in a very long time. So I would like to see that for you.
I'd be super fun.
I would like to see that for you.
All right, let's move on. Mike and I murked a couple teams last week. I hope you're fine with it. We killed the Cardinals and we killed the Raiders officially. I think those are the 2 teams we killed.
They deserve it.
The Cardinals are a fucking joke.
We're at 7. We're at 7 in week 8. So I feel like that's fair.
That's
7 in week 8 is fair.
I don't think we're overdoing it. I think there's a case to not cross anybody off this week. Let me read you the possibles.
Only one I would, because of the second debilitating injury that they've suffered this year, is the Giants. Is the only one I would, but I don't want to because I don't want to toss salt on that wound. Super punny about Cam Scatterbows. But we don't need to put
he was like, nobody visited me in the blue tent. I always visit everyone in the blue tent. It's really nice to get visitors and nobody came.
Well, that shit was pretty accurate.
I didn't
2 out of
see
3
it.
weeks.
I didn't see the injury. And then I got your text. Yeah, I got your text. I didn't see the injury. And based on the tenor of your text, I avoided watching it. So that injury actually isn't in my brain. So I actually don't need to see that. I was like, that sucks. I feel so bad for that guy. He was such a fun conversation point and personality and meme for the first 8 weeks of the season. God, the Giants are unlucky. I feel genuinely sorry for them. So I don't want to do it to them. The rest of the possible cross-off lists are the Ravens, the Giants, who we said, the Texans, the Falcons, the Vikings, the Bengals, the Cowboys, and the Commanders have actually earned a spot on the possible cross-off list, being 3 and 5.
Which makes me feel better about mistakenly leave them off for power rankings a couple weeks ago. Because since that moment, they have been
take the credit.
Shit.
Just take the credit. Don't admit to it. I feel I'm going to Google it because I feel like they have a somewhat tough schedule coming up. And yeah, I'm right. So it's kind of middle of the road, but it's tough. They play the Seahawks, a game they could lose. They play the Lions, a game they could lose. They play the Dolphins, a game they won't lose. They play the Broncos, a game they could lose. They play the Vikings, a game they could lose. They play the Giants, no, but then they play the Eagles twice on either side of playing the Cowboys. And I just think, I can find a lot of L's in there. I mean, even if we're at our most magnanimous, if we're being as nice as we possibly can, I'll give them, they've won what, 3 games, lost 5? That's about where they are, right? 3-5. Yeah. Commanders are 3-5 right now. So I'll give them the win against the Seahawks to make them 4-5. I'm not giving them the Lions 4-6. I'm giving them the Dolphins 5-6. I'll give them the Broncos. Fuck it, 6-6. They can have the Broncos. Shit. I'll give them the Vikings 7-6. And then I'll give them the Giants 8-6. And then I'm sorry, but you're losing 3 games in a row at that point. I really think you are. I think you end the season below 500, and I think it's a really disappointing regression for the Commanders. And that was me being as nice as I could, giving them every win I could find.
Yeah, because there's losses in there too. When you think about that, the way they've been playing, especially with Daniels recovering from injury and not being 100%, there's definitely potential losses in there, especially against the Vikings coming up. With the way the Commanders have looked the last 2 weeks, not the Vikings, the Seahawks. That's
Seahawks,
no
the Seahawks
way
is a
an
tough
easy
win
for them.
But we just gave it to them. We gave it to them on the and that's still only bringing them to 8 wins. I mean, max you're finding 9 wins if you give them the Cowboys game. If you say they might split with the Cowboys, like max you're finding 9 wins in there, max. So that's not enough. Not for the season.
I just got a report saying Zoom is not responding. And I'm going to hit don't send right now. Hopefully it doesn't kick me out. So I'm going to click it real quick.
Okay.
Hang on. All right. I'm good. I'm still here. All right. We're good. Sorry. Go ahead.
Perfect. Amazing. Really worked out. That was a real moment of tension. That was like watching a spy thriller. Whew. We made it. Yeah. The Commanders are in a viable conversation in 3 or 4 weeks. I'd say as early as 2 weeks from now, we could be having a serious cross-off conversation about them. It seems crazy, but if
they lose a couple of these games, man, it's possible.
If they lose the Seahawks, I might bring it up. Just saying.
Bengals loss is pretty egregious to the Jets. Can't lose that fucking game. That they're gonna regret that fucking game when it comes time for the playoffs.
Their legs are hanging over the edge right now.
Yeah,
I mean, I almost felt. I felt good for Justin Fields though. He seemed genuinely emotional about like actually winning a game of football.
Because his owner threw him under the fucking bus coming into the week. Like, what the fuck, bro?
What did he say? Like, how's Aaron Glenn supposed to win games when that's your QB or something? Kind of essentially.
Yeah, bro, it's so bad. So bad. Falcons bipolar. We already talked about them.
Yep. I think the Bengals' feet are dangling over the flames. I think the Cowboys need to start winning some games. They're going to be in a cross-off conversation come that tough run if they don't figure some shit. I think
Cowboys could be like 3-10-1. If they don't win against the Cardinals and the Raiders, bro, they can be really bad.
Come on. The Vikings, is it worth looking at their record or their schedule, I should say, coming up? Is it worth it? We can't cross the Ravens off yet. I don't think we're crossing anybody off this week, Bob. I think we can move right along to honorable mentions. But, some motherfuckers be put on notice. I think we've put some people up on notice. So I'll take that.
Giants play this week? Are they in bye week? Or they will? I don't know.
Let me take a look here. Let me look at the Giants. Let's see where, if they get a secondary stay of execution. They play this weekend, 10 a.m. my time, 1 o'clock your time. They play the 49ers. Could be their last week. Then they play the Bears the following week, and I just really hope the Bears don't lose to the fucking Giants, dude.
This could be it for them. This could be it. If they lose this week to the 49ers, that might be it. But for this week, we'll give them this week.
Speaking of the 49ers, they're top of the honorable mentions list. Them and the Broncos, I'd say, are sort of the
No, the Broncos are on the list.
I didn't get rid of them. Okay, great. So, yeah, I'd say the 49ers are probably the best team. At least, yeah, they're probably the best team not on the top 10. Maybe the Steelers. I don't know. What do you think?
Maybe I feel like the
The Seahawks, I feel
Seahawks.
like, own the honorable mention section, though. Like they really love being the best. They love
Yeah,
like not. They've been in there all season. They love the honorable mention section.
that's
They love being outside the top
they
10.
have the
Don't do that
best
to them.
argument. If they weren't on a bye week this week, they'd probably be number 10 because of my dismay at the Broncos at the moment because of that fucking win against Cowboys. But
Yeah.
the Seahawks look pretty solid. I think they have the biggest gripe not being there. The 49ers, man, they shouldn't be as good as they are at this point. Like it's like last week was the team that we expect them to be with Mac Jones. You know what I mean? Like that's
was
the
always
team
coming.
you're expecting to be with Mac Jones. So like that wasn't that surprising, and that's why they haven't been on the list, even being 5-2 going into last week.
Agreed. Totally. I mean, it's like I think they're always going to be frisky. They're always going to be frisky on the offensive side of the ball. So that's going to win you some games, right? I think with the injuries that they have, it's just like I just can't see anything for them. I can't see a future power ranking or playoffs or anything along those lines. They probably won't ever get crossed off, but they're going to be them and the Seahawks, to me, to be honest with you, just based on like sort of talent. I think they're perennial honorable mentions this season. I'd be surprised to see either of them in the top 10. I'd say the Seahawks, to your point, have a better chance. I almost dropped the Panthers down to possible cross-offs because they got shellacked. But they got shellacked by like a Buffalo Bills team that needed to respond. Like that was one of the biggest, obvious machine gunnings that anybody was walking into like this week. We could see that coming, surely, right? So
they came in winning 4 in a row. So the Bills were like,
overconfident.
Fuck this shit. They're like, this team,
the Bills are
team,
still good. Like if anybody was doing
shit.
victory laps on the Bills season, I wouldn't have recommended that prior to this week. But I actually think the Panthers have looked frisky, so it gives the Bills a little bit of a boost as far as winning those games you should win. But against a frisky team, like there was the alternate narrative where it was like, holy shit, like the Panthers have looked okay. The Bills are on a 2-game skid. Are we going to see them lose a third game? Like then we would all be hitting panic as hard and as often as possible if that happened. Like what would actually be happening? I think people would be blaming Haley Steinfeld at that point. Like there would be conspiracy theories galore. I don't know. I think the Panthers stay in honorable mentions for that reason because I do think that they're a little frisky. I like that we sort of called that out before the season when we went through the full list of power rankings. I know we put them low, but we were like, I don't know, maybe. Tet, we'll see. And
you were more in the Panthers than I were, for sure.
Yeah. I never thought that, and I think I've made this pretty clear. I never thought they were going to be good, but I
remember
I called out a couple of things that were like a little frisky.
You sent me a Bryce Young preseason dime that he threw. You're like,
that's right.
At Real BK.
Yeah.
What's up with this, bro?
Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know what's their division look like. What's the Panthers division look like? Like how they actually fare in the where are they going to go?
Falcons. The Falcons, the fucking Bucks, and
the
Cardinals,
Saints,
right? No, not the Cardinals. The Saints, right? The Saints.
So they're at least going to probably come in second. Again, though, I have no idea who the Falcons are. They're the strangest team I've ever encountered. But they're probably going to come in second to the Bucks. They're in the NFC. Nah.
They're not making the playoffs.
No, I'm not seeing a frisky playoff run for them. No, I couldn't put my.
Having Andy Dalton as quarterback obviously hurt this week. Like that obviously set them back. But Bryce Young's not going to light the world on fire any given week. So I mean, it is what it is, man. I mean, you're not going to get over 150 rushing yards per game from Rico Dowdle on a weekly basis, and that's really why they were on that fucking win streak. So it was definitely a comeback to earth moment, and I don't know if they're going to be that hot again for the rest of the season. But it was nice while it lasted. It was good while it lasted. But it was such a... I just remember seeing the score, looking at it in that opening window, and being like, that's literally the least surprising thing I've ever seen in my entire life. Really, this entire week was like one of the least surprising weeks.
How bad were the afternoon games?
Yeah,
God almighty, there was just no tension at all in the afternoon. It was like nothing. And then I kind of thought... I was like really looking forward to that night game, and then it was just like sneaky bad, right? It was like, oh,
we're in a Monday night.
We know.
game was
Yeah.
bad too. It was a bunch of blowouts this week.
Yeah. Because I guess it was like
Bunch
the
of
Steelers
blowouts.
looked like they were in it for a while, and then it was like, "Oh, they're just not putting him away. They're not putting him away. It's not happening." And then like Jordan Love played really, really well. He was like really motivated to play well. So like all the worst things possible could have happened to me happened to me. And the Bears losing, the Packers winning. But then like I guess Aaron Rodgers losing, I consoled myself with that. I was like, yeah, fuck Aaron Rodgers though. Every time I cut to his big dumb face, I was like, yeah, cool, funny, awesome, love it. And what I realized too is I was looking forward to the game because I wanted to sort of see both teams test each other. And I just found it so insufferable because like they just trotted out the oldest narrative ever. You know, when they were like, "Oh, he was an understudy to Aaron Rodgers, and he says Aaron Rodgers and him keep in touch." And I'm like, I don't care. I don't care at all that they text each other. I care as much about Aaron Rodgers and Jordan Love texting each other as any two dudes randomly selected on Earth. I care about this the same amount. This isn't. You don't have to contextualize this like him and Jordan Love. Contextualize it being Aaron Rodgers' return to Green Bay. That's a more interesting narrative, in my opinion, than him versus him. Let's be honest. Even if you're on my side of the spectrum about Jordan Love, or you're the highest on Jordan Love that you could possibly be, if you can look at me with a straight face, I'll do this test again and tell me that he's ever going to be on the level of Aaron Rodgers, talent-wise, you're out of your fucking mind. They're not the same caliber of quarterback. They're on different fucking planets. So even if you're the highest Jordan Love truther in the world, I think you would have trouble justifying that. Because you know how I know? I'll never hate Jordan Love as much as I hate Aaron Rodgers. Because the only reason I hate Aaron Rodgers, the only reason I hate Kobe Bryant, hated, R.I.P., no disrespect to the dead. The only reason I hated Peyton Manning, the only reason I hated these guys is because they made my life miserable. Because they went out there and cooked me on a weekly basis. That's what Aaron Rodgers did. That's not you, Jordan Love. So don't cast that narrative, please. Don't do it. It's silly. You sound silly when you do it. And you're a national broadcast. Of a national broadcast, I might add, collectively, it doesn't matter what channel you're on, collectively, the exception of the great Al Michaels, who I'll never say a bad word about ever. Collectively, the broadcast has been lower. It just hasn't been as good. I found myself enjoying Tony Romo's fucking commentary this year because it's actually a little bit higher than the rest of the year. I mean, we talked about Troy Aikman. How are you going to go out there and be that unprofessional? You know what I mean? How are you going to go out there and be that bad at your job, your current job? At this rate, he's so bad at being a commentator, he might Troy Aikman his way into the Hall of Fame as a commentator too, because that's how bad he is. He's as bad as he was a quarterback. So that makes me think he's going to get into the Hall of Fame.
Hey, watch it.
I know, I can't. I mean, we already disparaged him like week 1 of this show, so here it is. I don't know, man. I know the broadcast, it needs to improve. I was obviously cheering for the Steelers though. It was like my one opportunity to cheer for the Steelers this year. So I wanted to, support the wife and watch the Packers lose. I didn't get that. Any other honorable mentions that really strike your fancy? Chargers won again.
Chargers frauds. So, they won. They're frauds. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't
me and Mike sort of came to that conclusion. Well, Mike already thought that, but they could still win their division is the thing. And
no, the Chiefs won that division.
I know, but it's like it looks so even right now on paper. Like
the Chargers had their chance, man. The Chargers had a chance to take control of that early. They won against the Chiefs. They had like 2-3 games.
Didn't you want them to be good with me though? I thought we both wanted them to be good.
Of course I want them to be good, but it's just so clear that the Chiefs are winning that fucking division. Chargers lost to the Dolphins, bro. Like there's no.
Yeah, you have to just sort of throw the baby out of the water.
Bro, it's like...
You think it's because of Mike's take? You think it's because of Herbert? You think Herbert stinks?
They think he's done the least with the most tools that we've seen in a while. Him and Lawrence are like tied. You know what I mean?
You'd still rather Herbert than Lawrence. Pick 100%. One. That it has to be the QB of the Dallas Cowboys for the next 10 years. You're picking
It's still Herbert. It's still Herbert. Yeah, for sure. I
know why they get compared, but it also doesn't make sense.
I want to see more. You got to get more out of him, especially with Harbaugh as your coach now. Like you can't lose the games like you did last week to the fucking Dolphins. You can't do that. You cannot. You know what I mean?
How many games? Just to simplify it, to contextualize this conversation. How many games to win that division? How many games do they need to win that division?
10 or 11.
All right, so give me 10. Let me try and find 5 more wins for them. Okay? Let's just go try. Second half of the season. We're halfway through. Can they win 5? They play the Titans. That's 1. They play the Steelers. Probably not. They play the Chargers. Little Herbert Lawrence battle.
Are you
I
talking
want to
about
give it to the
Chiefs? Okay.
Chargers. No, I'm talking about
Yeah.
the Chargers. Yeah.
Okay.
Could we give them the Jaguars game? Is that 2 wins?
Yeah, they can get the Jaguars game.
Then they play the Raiders. We can give them that.
Yep.
That's 3. Then they play the Eagles. We'll give them an L. Then when they play the Chiefs, which is a bit of a 2-game swing, we'll give them an L.
Yeah.
And they play
you
the
get it.
Cowboys.
We'll give them one.
Can we give them that?
Yeah, we'll give them one.
And then they have to beat either the Texans or the Broncos. Can they win one of those 2 games?
I think so. They should be able to beat the Texans.
5 wins is possible for them. 5 more wins is possible for them. But they do have like a kind of hard, I call it tricky second half of the season. It has to be managed really, really, really well. The Chiefs probably going to win. I can't. I mean, even after that whole exercise, though, I'm sort of like, yeah, no, it's probably going to be the Chiefs. It's probably going to be the Chiefs and then the Broncos. To be totally honest with you, they might come in 3rd in that division. It's quite possible. Are they the Bears of the AFC? Oh, God.
Might be.
All right, let's talk about the Broncos. 6-3. They weren't on the list last week. They break into the top 10 this week after a 44-point shellacking of Bobby's Dallas Cowboys. I'm going to take this in a weird tier. We should talk about them in the context of the Chiefs and the Pats in the broader context of the AFC. So these are basically 3 teams vying to beat the Colts to the AFC, to the number 1 seed in the AFC. Like, these 3 teams could potentially be that, right? It's them 3, the Bills and the Colts. That's who's sort of vying for the number 1 seed in the AFC at this point. And I feel a couple of those teams are going to drop away. Unfortunately, I think the Broncos are one of those teams. I think that if you take it, the Pats, the Chiefs, the Broncos, the Bills, and the Colts, I still think the Colts are fraudulent, but they've won too many games at this point. So I think the least likely to win the AFC team there, you have to say, is the Broncos, and they are actually the lowest on the power rankings. So you sort of have to agree.
I do agree. But to me, when you look at the quarterback play, Bo Nix is what sets him behind of the rest of the teams on the power rankings. And plus, I just don't believe with the possibility of Surtain being out coming up in the next couple of weeks, I don't know if the defense is going to be able to hold up like they did. Like, Patrick Surtain is such a key piece of that Broncos defense. He's the Micah Parsons of what the Cowboys used to do. You know what I mean? So yeah, no, 100%. They're definitely at the bottom of those teams. 100%.
Is it worth it going to trying to find some wins for them? Because it's kind of a tough read. Texans, I kind of feel like the Texans are going to win that. Raiders, yeah, they'll win.
You think Texans beat the Broncos?
I do. Yeah. Do you?
Okay. Not to win the Broncos. So
it's in Texas.
I feel like they're on fire right now because of that Giants game. So I feel like they might get the Texans. I feel like it's going to take a good team to stop them.
Okay, well, they play the Chiefs after the Texans and the Raiders.
They lose that game. 100%. They lose that game.
So 2 wins, 1 loss. That puts them at, sorry, I lost my window. How many games have they won? 6-3. So that puts them at, what did we say? L to the Texans, 6-4. Win to the Raiders, 7-4. L to the Chiefs, 7-5. Then they play the Commanders in a primetime game. If that was tomorrow, we'd have to both take the Broncos. We just would.
Yes, you would.
I don't know what it's going to look like on November 30th,
right now,
but
so
yeah, I don't know what it's going to look like. They might turn it around, but I think we both take the Broncos. So that's 8. Was that 8-5? Another win to the Raiders, 9. A loss to the Packers, 9-6. I might have given them an extra loss. Sorry, 9-5 at this point. They play the Jags. We have to give them that win as of right now. So that's 10. An L to the Chiefs. That's 9-7. And then the Chargers is a toss-up. So let's say they could potentially win 10 games. The Broncos could potentially win 10 games. That, I think, to my earlier Chargers point, the Broncos are probably coming in second in that division, right?
Yeah, so it's gonna come down to, and then at the same time, so they're all in the same tier. So let's pull up the Chiefs schedule too. So you
Yeah,
have
I
the
just
Chiefs
did. I
schedule.
literally 1 second ahead of you.
Okay, so
the Chiefs schedule is tough
let's
read.
read this off and
Tough
see
read.
if we can get. I'm pretty sure we could probably get them to 11 pretty easily.
Okay, I don't know. All right, let's see.
Okay.
The Chiefs are currently sitting number 9 on the power rankings, and they are 5-3. When they play the Bills, will they be 6-3 or 5-4?
Wait, so who they play this week again? This week is Chiefs Bills.
Yes. I think we have to give them the L there.
Yeah, I go L. Yeah.
Otherwise, we're just giving them every single win. You know what I mean?
Oh, you Chiefs Bills this week? Finally, bro.
Chiefs,
Good
Broncos, 6-4. Colts,
Okay.
Chiefs, as it stands right now, I know I don't necessarily agree with it. We have to give the win to the Colts. We just do.
Do you? Oh, that's going to be a great game. But okay. Yeah, we'll give it to them.
There's
We'll
a
give
lot
it
of
to
good
the
Chiefs games coming up. Where was I? I completely lost my fucking place.
Colts.
1 win, 1 loss. So that puts them at 6-4. And then they lose to the Colts, so 6-5. Then they beat the Cowboys. Is that fair?
Yes, they beat the Cowboys.
7-5. They beat the Texans 8-5. They beat the Chargers 9-5. They beat the Titans 10-5. They beat the Broncos 11-5. They beat the Raiders 12-5. They're going to win 12 games. They're going to win at least 12 games. Even if they, trade a couple, if they beat the Bills, but then slip up against the Cowboys or something along those lines, we're looking at 12 games. They're going to win that division. That's over. That conversation is done.
You know what I mean? And Chiefs are in the division, they get whole playoffs games. So even with that dog shit start that they had, the fucking Chiefs 1-2.
Yeah, but
no,
didn't we
they're
discuss?
still gonna win their
wasn't it
fucking
you and
division.
I know
They were
Wasn't it
off
you
the
and I,
power
though, that-
rankings, bro.
I
They were
know.
off the
But
power.
what was it? Not you and me and Mike, or maybe it was just me and Mike, or maybe it was just me and you that talked about how it wasn't Mahomes' fault. So that's the scary thing is every time you watch Mahomes play, he still was having good games, and their defense just needed to sort their shit out. So if you were actually watching the games, I was watching. I made this point to Mike. I'm like, hot take, controversial opinion. I know we all want the Chiefs to lose because they've been the best team, and that's what we're conditioned by because we watched the Patriots for so long, just reigns of dominance. I know we are conditioned to want them to lose, and I kind of do. I like watching Pat Mahomes play football. It's a lot of fun. To be totally honest with you, it's still a lot of fun to watch him play.
Too. It's so different when I had a guy like Rice back into the picture, bro.
Yeah.
And then, you know what I mean?
Absolute piece of shit human being, but
100%.
a certified weapon. Did you see they put his crimes and misdemeanors up on the screen on ESPN?
I was like, bro,
Jesus
what's going on? This is the society we
surreal.
live in now.
Yeah,
bro.
Surreal. Absolutely surreal.
NBA and Chauncey Billups setting up
what is
scams
that,
for
dude?
multi-millions of dollars.
You don't have enough money, Chauncey? My favorite has been, thank God Terry Rozier is not a Celtic anymore, but my favorite has been Terry Rozier is never beating the allegation memes, and it's just him being terrible. And just making awful plays. It's he was doing it. He was fixing games. God, the NBA has always had such a fucking problem with that kind of stuff, man. We got to clean that up.
There's the one where it's so clear that he's selling in this game. It was when he was on the Heat, and it was after the NBA had found out about it, and it was bro, I can't believe they were letting this motherfucker play basketball. It's why.
There's a really funny, sort of similar meme in soccer. There's this guy named Murata, who's a striker, and he continuously gets bought and sold for 60, 70 million. Because you buy players in soccer, you're aware of this. You pay their contract, but you also have to pay the team you're buying them from a set fee to essentially it's kind of like signing Dice K, but it's signing everybody. Just to talk to the guy, you got to pay an exorbitant amount of money. He's continually getting.
Talk to him as well.
Yeah, I know it's crazy, but he's good though. And then getting. I mean, by the way, I think we're current. I mean, this is not a hot take at all, but we are currently watching the greatest athlete on Earth right now in the World Series. It's fucking crazy.
Unbelievable.
I was up so late last night, Bob. I was just
you were up late, bro. I fell asleep in the 16th inning, and it was 2:30 in the fucking morning here.
But like, oh my God. I mean, not to go on a total tangent here, but baseball so improved. I mean, playoff baseball was always a decent product.
The pitch clock has
The
made it
pitch
just
clock
a
is,
different
I've been
game,
advocating
man.
for the pitch
It's so
clock
much
since we
better.
were in middle school, just for the record. I've been advocating for a pitch clock since middle school. Playoff baseball was always a watchable product to me as somebody who just does not watch regular season games on the regular, unless I go to a Red Sox game or I go to a Dodgers game as like an event, as like a thing to do. But I don't watch regular season baseball games. I started with the Sox against the Yankees in the wild card round this playoffs. It's been a lot of fun to keep up with it, especially because I think we're witnessing the greatest baseball player of all time. I think that's like almost become unanimous and undisputed, right?
He got on
Like, that's
base
crazy.
7. He got on base 7 fucking times
Diabolical.
in one game. In one game.
That's insane.
One game. 7
It's
times.
insane. And like the fact that he does both, obviously, I mean, these are all points that have just been talked to death, and this is a football show, but like that guy he's Tiger Woodsing hard right now. And I love the amount of these type of guys I've been able to see in my lifetime. It's fucking unbelievable. People are amped here in Los Angeles, I have to tell you. It's kind of our main real fan base. No offense, Lakers fans, but like you got a lot of fat and gristle on in your fan base when you go to a Lakers game. I give the Clippers fans some credit, and I give the Dodgers fans credit. I think the Dodgers are a real fan base. And also, I'd say probably the Angels, because I'm scared of those people. They don't fuck around. So I went to a Dodgers Angels game, and Jesus, man, it was like a fucking scary situation. And I was talking shit going in. I went with a big group of people, and I was like, I've been to Red Sox Yankees games, guys. Like, don't. And they were like, no. There might be a shooting. It's not about the fights. It's like there might be a gunfight. That's the thing that you're worried about here, you fucking idiot. I'm like, oh my God, no, it was tense, bro.
It's just a Yankee suck. Fuck
yeah.
you.
Yeah. Beer thrown, punch thrown. If I could give anybody advice, life advice, based on just all the things I've learned, there's a thing that I know in my bones, and it's don't get in a fist fight in bleachers, in stadium seating. Whether you have the high ground or the low ground, bro. Nobody looks good. Nobody looks good unless you one hitter quitter a motherfucker. If you engage,
there's the
Suns in 4. That's essentially like the reason why those guys pop is because how many more awkward fucking, and like how much faith do you have? You're a regular ass white guy probably listening to this podcast. All right, how much faith do you really have in your ability to really like beat the shit out of somebody? Calm it down. Don't get into a stadium fight ever. Go outside. Take it outside. If you ask me, because nobody's look good. Everyone's gonna look silly. You don't want to go viral for that.
Rayshawn will take you down.
Rayshawn comes in there and picks you up with one hand and drags your ass out of the fucking stadium. Like, that's what happens. So, fuck that. When I went to the Pats Steelers game, some tension broke out behind me, and I was like, yeah, I could see it, like Pats Steelers, whatever. And I just thought it was so funny because like the Patriots, obviously I'm visiting, but it's the place I grew up. And I just thought it was so funny how quick the Patriots fan became like a scumbag like me from where I'm from. Like just the way he was saying, I mean, I don't want to say the curse words that he was saying here on our podcast, but oh my God, I was like so nostalgic for me, to just be taken right back to just people in high school talking shit to each other. Nothing happened. It all got sorted out. They were shaking hands by the end. But don't get in stadium fights, boys and girls. I guess we'll somehow have to bring this back to football now.
Yeah, how do we do that? Bats?
We did the Pats already.
Bats.
I still think the Packers are frauds.
Still? So I tell a story. So
the best they've looked all year. That's that they. So they were struggling before that game, to be honest.
So I did send them. I put the Pats above them when I first did it, and then I was like, you know what? All weeks for me to fucking move the Packers. Like I can't move them this week when they finally actually look good. And Jordan Love looks like an actual quarterback. So then I switched it back. I literally did it so we have like some fucking movement on this list. But
I mean, funny you say that because I was about to just tell the audience the top 7 of the power rankings are the exact same. It's Lions 1 last week 1, Colts 2 last week 2, Bucks 3 last week 3, Bills last week 4, this week 4, Eagles same again, Rams same again, Packers same again. And honestly, it's hard. It's a little hard for me to argue with it because I can't put the Colts number 1 either. You just know. Because you fucking know. You have to put them 2. It smacks of your Steelers take on their 11-win season. It's because you never put them where I wanted you to. You like it was an argument because I wanted them up at 1 because they'd won all those games, and it just you have to. Now I really see your point because I just know in my bones they're fraudulent. I just know in my fucking bones they're fraudulent. So, and they're not better than the Lions. They're not better than the Lions. They're not.
They're clearly not. No,
I don't think they're better than the Eagles.
This is the
I don't
first
think they're
week
better than the
all
Bills.
year that the teams that were supposed to win every single game they won, and they look good doing it at the same time. Plus, we had a couple bye weeks at the top, so that's definitely what set it where it did. The only argument I would have would be moving the Bills back up to 2, because I was looking at it.
I mean, that was a shellacking.
They looked like the Bills again. They look like the team that should be at the top of the power rankings.
But you just get a little nervous, right? Because of how
because of
easily they were sort of knocked off their game. You know what I mean? Like the fact that they lost 2 on the bounce after losing that Pats game, and I think like the sort of nature of how those 2 losses looked, you're a little like, oh, guys, if you have that Rick in you, I don't want to see that again. You know, so it's like it's probably going to be a distant memory, like very very soon. But I don't know. On that note, I think we should just because I heard you perk up when I mentioned a couple games this week, and I realized I never do this, but I always should. It's so silly. I'm looking at week 9. I think we should finish off with a little preview of week 9 because we've sort of talked about most of these teams, and maybe we can talk about a couple more in the context of these games, just considering what these games are. A must win for the Ravens against the Dolphins. I think they can pull it off. 49ers.
They look so much better with Huntley. They're so fucking stupid for thinking Cooper Rush could be the replacement for Lamar Jackson if they have Tyler Huntley in there.
Yeah, you need like a similar type of
That's
he's never
so
going to be Lamar,
absurd.
but you need to play like you need to play like the system guy that matches how you play football.
Offense, bro.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right,
of course. Yeah, and then like just for everyone else's benefit, right? Like for everyone else on the offense's benefit. Like look how good Zay Flowers looked just running that offense because he was getting to be the playmaker that he is, you know.
Right, bro.
Agreed. Yeah, totally agreed. 49ers play the Giants, whatever. Chargers play the Titans. We talked about the Chargers already. Vikings Lions is interesting because it's divisional. I think the Lions kind of stand a chance of getting knocked off the top spot if they lose to the Vikings. They kind of need to win that if they want to retain number 1, depending on what happens in the rest of the context. What Falcons show up against the Patriots, I don't know, but we've talked about the Pats. We kind of believe in them, so here we are. Colts Steelers. I'll be really interested in this game, to be totally honest with you, because I think the Steelers, despite I think having improved quarterback play from their last 3 to 4 seasons, despite having DK Metcalf in there and like actually really being a playmaker, they still weirdly look exactly like a team that's going to win 9 or 10 games and lose in the first round of the playoffs. So I'd be really interested to see them play the team that I think is going to win 12 or 13 games and then probably lose in the first round of the playoffs. It could be Colts Steelers, honestly, the way things are going when we get there. So let's see. The Colts, I mean, yeah, look, I just don't think you can win with that guy at quarterback. That's where I'm at. I think they're going to get found out really early in the postseason. What do you think? Are you still with me on that?
I don't disagree. But at the same time, he's looked fucking excellent. Like every week I doubt him. He's not just like managing and letting Jonathan Taylor win these games. Like he's making some big boy throws in this game. So he is rising to the occasion week in and week out. But at the same time, when it comes down to like playoff atmosphere, I still don't believe it. I'm with you on it. I'm with you.
All right.
But at the same, he's doing a lot.
It's hard to deny what's actually happening. I agree with you. I like the stuff that's happening is happening. But I don't know. They have that smell about them. It smells like bitch in here. Broncos, Texans. That's actually interesting. I mean, we kind of talked about that already, though. Bears, Bengals. Bears have to win that game. Like, the Bengals are a dying dog. We got to put them down. Panthers. I shouldn't use that analogy. It just fucking made me sad. Panthers, Packers. Another fucking win for the Packers that I have to endure. They're probably not going to look good doing it either. Saints, Rams. Rams have to win. Jags, Raiders. Jags have to win. We're going to have a conversation about the Jags next week if they win, strangely enough. We're actually going to have to talk about them in the honorable mention section. It's going to be a real thing. There's a chance you put them at 10 in power rankings. Probably not.
Yeah. No, probably not. But
Chiefs, Bills, I think, is probably the game of the week, yeah? Here as our traditional game of the week.
It is definitely the game of the week.
Afternoon on Sunday.
Chiefs, Bills has been the game of the week for what? 4 years now.
Yeah.
It's Chiefs Bills is the game of the week for at least the last 4 years.
Got a little. Who would you call it right now? Who you saying?
I got to go Bills. See how they showed up last week. I got to go Bills. I think it's a great game. I think it lives up to like that legacy of Chiefs Bills again. But I think the Bills pull it off. It's in
Seahawks
Buffalo,
Commanders
right?
is the it is.
Yeah, in Buffalo.
Seahawks Commanders is the Sunday night game. That's the better game probably than the Monday night game of the Cowboys and the Cardinals. But I think based on how we talked about the Cowboys at the top of this show, we gave you guys all a little bit of a narrative and stuff to watch out for. And you're going to have to watch out for it because they're on TV forever. So try to get interested in them because they're going to be in front of your face in the only game in their time slot for the foreseeable future. This is maybe you died. Do you think maybe you died and you're in Cowboys fan hell right now and you just have to watch them in primetime be terrible every single week? Oh man. And then you have to go talk about them. You don't know how many
times I've thought about that over the last year and a half. Yeah.
Then you have to talk to me about
that.
This
has crossed my mind a few times.
Oh my God, you poor bastard. Commiserations, my friend. Cowboys, Cardinals, Seahawks, Commanders, those are your night games.
If I wake up in a hospital in a week and a half and you're standing over my bed again, bro, I'm just gonna be very, very disappointed.
And I'm like, no, of course they can't fucking play that many primetime games in a row, Bobby. That's so silly. No, the NFL would never schedule like that. That's when you should have known it was a dream, man. That's when you should have known. Wake up, Bobby. Wake up. We're all here. Listen, this has been really fun. I'm looking forward to this week in football. There's a lot of friskiness. I would say we're in the frisky dingo weeks right now. There is a lot of parity, but I don't know. I think some shit's going to start to get figured out over the next 3-4 weeks.
We're in the shit of the season. We're in the middle of that fucking it, bro.
We're balls deep. We're balls deep, baby. We're surrounded on all sides. Let's see who's going to step up. Who's going to be the big boy? Tune in to find out. Hey, we'll see you guys next week. Thanks so much for listening to Missing the Point.
Bye.
Thank you.